take a minute and check out my patron page and see what kind of prizes and gifts I have available if you're a member. Okay, YouTube, we're going to try to get her done today. Finally, we're going to put the refractory cement into the bucket here that'll help insulate our foundry. We'll do it like we did last time. We'll mix over here in this tub, and I'm going to do it on the floor this time instead of on the bench. That carpet chunk there happens to be an entry carpet square from a Target store. It's like 3/4 of an inch thick, and it's good padding to kneel on. So anyhow, I guess it's time to get started. So as before, we're going to use these solo cups anyhow to be our measuring tool. Oh, there's one in there already. So it's a 4-to-1 mixture of perlite to refractory cement. So that means 4 of these. It doesn't have to be exact. So it'll be 4 of those to 1 of the refractory cement. That's that out of my way. So in case you were wondering, if you saw this in the background, I've got a piece of 8" by 8" particle board right here on top of the sonotube that's going to hold it down. And on top of that, I've got an 8 by 8 concrete block for weight, just so when I'm tamping this material down that it doesn't move that sonotube. And that's what that's all about. Alright, I'm not going to show you this whole thing again. You saw it when I did the lid. So what we're going to do here is this first bucket, we're going to take some mud out of it. Kind of push it down in there. I'm hoping to get a full cup here. I might be not getting that. It's amazing. I thought this stuff would dry in the bucket, but it really didn't. Get as much out of here as I can. I got about half there. I think we're going to call that bucket dead. So this is the brand new bucket. And there's a full cup. Well, that's one. This is the hardest part, is getting it out of here now. That's one. And that's 2. Yeah, this is the messy part of this whole thing. The metal work was easy, everything was easy, and this is this nasty. So, let's see. Can't get that out of there. That's gonna have to do for now. Lift this guy back up. And now comes the mixing, which I'm not going to bore you with because you saw it in the last video. So the next time you see this, it'll be in the bucket. Okay, like I said, this is the messy part of it. I've got this stuff just everywhere. As the refractory cement actually sticks to perlite fairly good, but it just crumbles and falls apart while you're putting it in. And the problem I run into now is, notice the bucket, she is not full. I need a whole nother bucket of refractory cement. So I guess this is on hold, and that'll sit like that. That's good. That won't set up for quite a while, so I'll run up and get another bucket of this refractory cement here, and we'll finish her off. Okay, so this part's done. We're done right down to the letting it cure. It's got to cure for at least 24 hours. And as much material as there is in there, I'll probably go a little bit longer than that before we actually pull the sonotube out. And then there'll probably be a little bit of patchwork in around the sonotube, and let that cure, and then we'll do a test fire. So there it is for now. We'll be back. Okay guys, typically a sonotube is used to make a base for a post or for a light pole or a flagpole or something like that, and the concrete is actually poured inside here. So what you do when you go to strip the sonotube off is you cut the corner like I did here, and you just unpeel it around the outside of it. Well, this we did just the opposite, so this is on the inside, so I'm having to cut it as I go in order to get it to tear. And now this is going to look really ragged on the inside here, but you know, that's what you got to do. So I think the best procedure here is going to be to cut it loose right here. There we go. So we're going to have to take it out a piece at a time, it looks like, and then we'll take more refractory mud and go in. As you can see here, that I think you can see that. Let's get a little bit closer, maybe. You can see this little course where the perlite is. So we'll go over that with refractory mud and take out any voids that's in there, and then we'll get ready to do a test fire. So what we got here is, as you can see right here where my fingers are, the perlite, some of it pulled off, and that's because the inside of a sonotube is got kind of a waxy type of coating on it, and the outside is like cardboard. So this was stuck to the outside, and the moisture from the refractory cement actually penetrated the sonotube, and it pulled that surface layer off, and that's what I was expecting to happen. So we'll just do a finish coat on here with some refractory cement, and that'll be that. Alright guys, we're almost ready to do a cure burn. It'll be a test burn and a cure at the same time. As you'll notice, maybe the top here, this little ragged here, I touched this up. Inside, I touched this up all inside here. Looks really good now. And I'll take a rasp and just clean the rest of that up. And then we'll do a burn. Okay guys, we're hooked up to the propane. And that's a 6-foot stainless steel hose going over to the burner, and it is now inside the 2.5-inch pipe on the foundry. So the other thing I have is, let me see if you can see this. Yeah, you can. It's an infrared thermometer. This one's a little bit special. It goes, instead of just reading people's temperature, it reads up to 3,200 degrees Fahrenheit. So it'll be able to, we'll be able to control where our temperature is set on this. So I'm going to turn on the gas here in just a second. Okay, let's see if we can make some fire. Getting a little warm. I'm not real concerned yet. We'll just keep watching it for a while. Show you some of the safety equipment. I fire my forge and the foundry up with this propane torch that is trigger operated. So you just pull the trigger and then it'll fire. Also, no flip-flops, leather boots. Mine are over the ankle. These are my metal detected boots. Face shield I won't use today because I'm not boring today. Welding gloves, these only been used a couple times. Just to keep from burning your hands, I'll lift the lid off if you're handling a crucible. But you know, we want to be safe doing this, so we'll keep watching and we'll get back to you. Okay, we're about 20 minutes into this preheat. See how the fire comes out of that 2.5-inch tube and just spins around on the inside of the foundry. Working great. I had to turn it down a little bit more. It keeps gaining heat. So looking good. Okay guys, got to 125 degrees in the shop. So I had to kick on some fans. We got an exhaust fan here on the floor. Okay guys, it's about time to shut her down now. It's been pretty close to an hour. I don't think it's right at an hour, but had a little trouble controlling the temperature. So I'm going to shut her down here and see what we got. Okay, I've gone to also to a N95 mask. There were some fumes coming off like there typically is when you even do forging. There's fumes that come off the metals and whatnot. And this galvanizes the same. So I put an N95 on that I have in the shop. Not for the virus, but for the fumes. So these handles are about 170 degrees. And there's what it looks like. It really shrunk. And it's got a few bubbles in it. I don't know if it'll be good, but we'll see. And the inside looks actually better than the lid. I don't know. So just a few observations of this cure burn. I had to run my regulator down to about 4 psi to keep the temperature down, and almost had the valve here clearly closed and the air shut down also. Now this is still cool enough to touch, but my 2.5 got to about 250, but it didn't travel back any farther than the reducer. That's one observation. I think I would use a different refractory cement to do this if I was building another one, which I may be. Just because of what I've seen here, and I think it's just because of the expansion of the perlite. So maybe in the future I would go back to doing the KO wool on the sides and covering that with refractory cement that's castable, and it's a little bit higher temperature. You can get 3,000 degree refractory cement. So that's it for this one. Next one will be a burn. Thanks for watching.